So try to squint your eyes to the point where you almost can't see like anything, reality, right? And in that moment, you'll realize how every time you open your eyes, you are seeing reality. Every time you close them, you are not. And that is actually the basis of my exercise I'll give you in this video. It's called underlaying. It's very similar to overlaying, which you maybe know. But it's about realizing what is true about reality and what is not true. And by realizing that, you can change your reality in a matter of days. In this video, I'll give you the exercise. For the exercise to work, you will need to know stuff. How is reality created? Number one. What is then truth? So if external reality, the reality I look at, if that's not true, then what is true? What light can shine through you? Weird concept, but we'll talk about that. And then at the end, we'll talk about the exercise, how to do this to change your reality. It's very powerful, very fun. Let's talk about it. So how is reality created? And the best thing I can do is maybe explain it and then draw it for you so that you understand what about me is actually connected to my external reality. To begin with, I want to say everything. You, external reality, any other person, it's all you. It's all interconnected. It's all your consciousness, your awareness. That consciousness and awareness, some people call that God, Allah, Source, whatever. That consciousness is very, very focused on your mind and your external reality right now, to the point where you've started to believe that you are only your mind walking around in external reality, or your mind and your body. So when I say in other videos that you need to separate yourself from that mind and start just to observe that mind, I'm actually do it so that you know, okay, the hierarchy in you is not that you are mind and awareness, it's actually the opposite. So your consciousness, your awareness have manifested a mind that believes a certain story. That story becomes external reality. Scientists, they are now discussing this as if it's a new idea, how consciousness interacts with itself and how your consciousness creates your external surroundings. It's not new. This is how it works. And let's start by just drawing a small stick figure. Maybe you can see this. This is you when you were born, okay? And you have had this consciousness. And everything that was shown to this consciousness somehow became something to build on. So this consciousness expands in a direction and creates what it expands into. So if your parents constantly show you that they're worried about money, you will expand in a certain direction towards lack. That place of expansion will then become your being. So let's imagine that you're shown this, and imagine that your consciousness is like a light. It's you have the entire room, which is the entire universe. Your consciousness is just the light shining on a specific thing. And your parents yelling at you, or your parents showing you lack or that they lack, is like shining that light only on the bad things in the entire room. Does that make sense? So your consciousness is just observing. You're just a kid. You're just observing. Okay, I'm being shown this. I guess it's true because it's my parents that are supposed to take care of me. So you expand into that. That being of lack manifests a mind, manifests a shadow, manifests a nervous system to uphold itself. So the best thing that ever happened to you is the solidness of you in this reality, because it's actually proof that you are a very powerful creator. So the mind that you argue with is your creation. The shadow that you argue with is your creation. The nervous system that you argue with is your creation. Take it like this. If you go into a sauna, your internal body temperature will almost not change, and that's good. Otherwise, you would die. That is called like your body keeping a state of homeostasis. So you stay in the same state. It likes to keep you stable. And the same thing with your mind. So when you expand into something, awareness sees something, you pay attention to it, then you become that being slowly. Okay. This is very important to start realizing. So what about external reality is true? So if you expand into that, if you have parents that keep showing you this, behavior of lack, extrapolate this to whatever, then you will have a mind that believes in this, that money is scarce, that bills are supposed to stress you out, stuff like that. External reality will then start confirming that. So you will find proof in reality that that is true, because external reality is actually just the rendering of your internal frame. So it's the same atoms, but they are being put in a way that is always one-to-one with your internal reflection. So Neville Goddard would call it the law of assumption. So what you assume to be true is then what shows up in reality. And I call it the law of knowing, that what you know about yourself is going to show, or that I sometimes say, your story always manifests. Crucial to recognize this, that this is actually how your reality right now is put together, so that every day that you wake up, you're not surprised. It's exactly as it were yesterday, and you keep on being in this loop of your economy is always the same, your love life is always the same, your health is always the same, because you keep on believing the same story. So you should change your story to change your reality. But how to do this? Because external reality seems so true, but it keeps on confirming to me that I don't have any money. Well, the story you're telling is actually what is confirming, is actually what external reality is confirming. But okay, so that's point number one. That's how reality is actually created. It's these realities are collapsed in a way so that consciousness finds a solid place to stand with its expansion. So that's, I call it the governing laws of your expansion. Whatever your parents showed you, grandparents, colleagues, that's the being you've become. And that being creates its own system so that it's solid. So you don't have to fight your nervous system or shadow or whatever. It's your creation. It might be a bad creation. It might be the bad solution. You don't want it. And luckily, you can just change. Next up is then, so what is truth? Let's draw another, right? So if we have you, I'll just draw an eye in here. Then we have this, which is mind. And then we have this, which is, let's call it reality. We could also call it observed reality. What is truth? Well, you think that this, let me just find it here, that this yellow area is truth, right? And also this mind. But I'm saying, no, this is actually the only truth. This is the very foundation of your entire being, is the observer inside you. So if you want to find this, you should start meditating. You can also just close your eyes with me right now, and then ask yourself, so what do I experience right now? A sensation in my body, a thought, a sound outside. And then the next question is then what some people would call self-inquiry. Who's experiencing that? So I have a thought, and I'm thinking about my bills. Okay, who's aware of that? Yep. Maybe you'll say me or my mind. Okay, who's aware of that? So go back to that observer. That is actually just using your mind and body and entire system, your entire world as a lens. So imagine that you are watching yourself from behind through yourself as a character. You will find this observer mode. That's the trueness about you. That's the one that has always been present, the one that was with you at birthdays and stuff like that. So you can go to any memory and you can realize, okay, this observer in me was always the same. No age, no name, nothing. This is the core of your being, your I am. It's looking out of a mind that is a manifestation of it, what it has previously looked at. So that cannot be true. That's simply, mind is simply what has been shown. So mind is past, right? So if we take this and we draw it out, we say, so mind is past awareness. Okay? Very important. But what is reality then? Well, reality, we could say, is then past mind. So we are at the bottom of the pyramid of importance in reality. Actually, it's as Neville Goddard would call it, the world of the dead. Right? It is actually no longer functioning. It is showing you old news. Old news. It shows you nothing about what is true right now. The longer out in this circle that I've just drawn for you, you get, the more falsified the information is, if that makes sense. So it is, in some very relevant sense, all truth because it's all you. It's just not the cause. So it's not. It's an illusion. Okay, it's the effect of you, if that makes sense. I know I'm hurrying a bit through this, and I don't want this video to become too long before I give you the exercise. So what light can then shine through you? Very important. So that, and I'll draw that for you right now. So you have been thinking that you are this is supposed to be an earth, that you are this person reacting with this globe reality. But I'm telling you, no, 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 you're separate from that. You are looking at that, right? So you're the eye of that, right? So if you go to scripture, I am that I am, most people think that they are the second I am, what I have chose to be, what I have expanded into being. So it's actually I am that I am, right? So this is actually who you are, the first I am. You're the cause of creation. What you have believed about yourself your entire life is then what has shown up. So what light can shine through you? What does that mean? Third thing is, so it is, where do I position myself? So if my internal world is truth, how I think about myself then becomes reality. So if you go back to this drawing, if we say that the I in the middle is God or Allah or consciousness, but in this we will say that it's light. You will find out later on your journey that light and God is the same thing. We don't have to talk about that for now. It will be too much. Then you will have to say, okay, so what mind am I observing? What character am I observing? And if we go in a specific direction, we say, okay, so I'm observing this part of mind. It is trying. Then reality is the correct extension of that, because as I just said to you, the mirror is always one-to-one. So it's always the same thing, just delayed a bit on the outside, or can be delayed, don't assume it, that it is here. So reality will always show you trying as well. Which means, okay, okay, should I observe a mind that then watches manifestation videos? should I hire a coach? What should I do? Well, what you should do is that you should start observing a mind and a character that is already what it needs to be. It is done, as Neville Goddard would say. So if you imagine yourself to be, so your awareness is the light and shining through you. What position are you taking? Are you taking the position of being rich or being healthy or being loved? Because it's actually the only way it can be like that in external reality. And there's not some part of it is that. Can I also do it with money, Chris? Can I also do it with health? No, it's everything in reality that is like this. There exists no lack. It cannot be the case. And it's not ever mentioned in scripture that God will give you number 4 on your list of wishes. Right? It's always just ask and you shall receive. Right? So it's actually always being represented. It's the question and the answer is the same in this in this instance. Just 2 more minutes, we'll get to the exercise. So what mind should I shine a light through? And this is it's a hard part about manifestation or reality creation is realizing if I want to solve my problem, I will have to realize that I don't have it. And by realizing that I don't have the problem, and then it becomes this weird, okay, so what then? Well, you are free to leave. You are free to choose a life. Right? And that's hard because we're so used to leaning on external reality, but you cannot lean on external reality. And even your mind is the world of the dead. It is your manifestation. And a lot of people also on this channel will say, yeah, but what to do when I stress, or what to do when I struggle, or what to do when I fight my mind? Well, you're fighting your creation, right? You have hired them, and now you can actually fire them instead of argue with them. So what? Realize that mind is doing the same thing to you as your body is doing in the sauna. It's trying to keep you where you are, and it's supposed to. So thank it. Really release the resistance to that mind and realize no matter what it tells me, I can choose who I am. Just like you know your name, does your name change when you get a huge bill? Does your kids' names change when you get a huge bill? Oh, sorry, honey, but you have to change your name because I just got a huge bill. No, but then why does it change how rich you are? Right? That's the law of knowing in its essence. You're supposed to stay intact. And the devil has convinced you, your mind, that it's not already so, that you are not perfect. So manifestation is about going back to the creator, God, consciousness, Allah, whatever we call it, and realizing, but I was made in his image. So it cannot be the case that I'm lacking. It can only be the case that I believe I'm lacking, and therefore reality is showing to me. So I am already healthy. I am already, now I'm getting excited. I'm already healthy. I am already rich. I'm already loved. Period. Now the exercise. Now the exercise. I don't think I'll draw that. No. Let's try to go off screen and let me just talk to you. The exercise. Okay. So what you're looking at in front of you is a rendering. It's a representation of your internal state. Okay. So squint your eyes just to the point of realizing, okay, now reality is gone, and then open them a bit. Now it's here. Now it's gone. Now it's here. Okay. And try to see if you can get yourself in that sense of every time you open your eyes, you're rendering a new reality. So you're talking about infinite intelligence that's working on your behalf, right? So it's as you open your eyes, it's creating reality, and as you're closing your eyes, it's removing it, it's restarting it, it's rebooting it. Okay, and then realize, okay, so underneath, and that's why I use the name underlaying. So underneath my current frame is the possibility of any frame. This frame, just take whatever is in the room right now, could have been different. So I could close my eyes, and if I just open my eyes slightly, it could have been different. If I knew it to be the case. It is actually my knowing that has transcended into external reality. Okay? And you can do this with your eyes open. You can look at your room and you can see, okay, can I look at my external reality right now as a movie screen that is actually empty, but it's being filled with my light? Can I then, underneath what I see the blackness or the whiteness of it, so that there's nothing? This screen is empty, and can I then underlay it with what is supposed to come in my direction? But what would I like instead? Can I right underneath know that? Can I right underneath, if I'm looking at my car, can I write like at the same instance? I don't have to change the car I'm looking at, but can I write underneath notice that a new car is appearing? Can I change my internal state so that I know this state represents another car that will then soon show in this frame? I could maybe squinch my eyes at the car until I can sense it that it's changing. And sometimes it will happen very fast. Sometimes it will take some time, but that does not matter, right? Can I notice that it's a grid that's being filled out from me? I'm the center of the universe. I'm the light, right? And try to do this really while I'm talking. That's why I keep on talking about it, so that you can do it. Close your eyes and then imagine, okay, the whole world is now black or light. It's gone. And as I open up, it's shown to me. And what I see right now is the representation of what I told the director to show me a few months back. So what I see right now, it feels solid. Sorry. But it's not real. It is 6 months old, 12 months old, 5 years old, 10 years old, whatever, right? But it's dead. It is not what is being created on my factory right now. So what am I seeing underneath everything right now? What do I know to be true about myself? Right. I do this with my eyes open. I visualize most of the time with my eyes open. Sometimes some people like to do it with their eyes closed. If I could give you 2 small hacks, it would be start visualizing with your eyes open and start whispering your affirmations instead of saying them out loud. Just 2 small things we'll talk about another time. But let's do it one more time and then let's end the video, okay? There will be plenty more of these exercises on this channel, so please follow along. I love that you're here. And save this video, and also if you have this hype opportunity underneath the video, please click that button. It would mean a lot to me. So, close your eyes slightly so that you see reality become black, or whatever you see it to become. And then realize, okay, now it's empty. Reality is empty. And then you can say to yourself, I'm rich. And then you can imagine how rich would look in your external reality. And then you can open your eyes. You should do it slower when you do it after this video. So save this video so you can watch the instructions again. Okay, so now you have an image, but you also have what you know that is underneath. So that's the underlaying. I don't know what I should call it. Maybe I should have called it the underwear of manifestation, something like that. But so you know what is underneath. You right now have X-ray vision in your reality. You know what is about to come, and you can just walk in that. And that's the most powerful and most beautiful and funny manifestation technique, or one of them at least, because you walk around with X-ray vision. So when you look at your car, it doesn't matter. You see a different car. It's about to appear. It's about to spawn right there, right? You see it everywhere you go. You see a different house. You just see a different life, which means that you are embodying, that you are already it. It is here and now. And that is what you need to do to manifest, my dear friends. Love you all. Get out of here. Bye.